more than ever, multi-generational and multi-dwelling homes are becoming incredibly popular.
It's a common solution for families expanding or simply looking for a second income.
And we have found a place that is actually 3 homes in one.
With an amazing amount of space and privacy for all.
Now, we're in the Sydney suburb of Balmain, and at first glance, it's obviously a very narrow block. Now, there are 2 cottages that sit on the site that now house 3 generations under the one roof. Does it work? Let's find out. Suzanne and her son Andrew and his family live in the multi-dwelling property. Andrew's an architect, and his challenge was to design something that fitted everyone's needs. So mother, son, Suzanne, Andrew, tell me, you guys live here. Is it successful?
Yes, it has been an incredible experience for our family. It's been able to bring us together and we've been able to share certain aspects of our lives, whilst at the same time maintaining our independence.
And Suzanne, is that easy to do, or is it something you really have to work at?
Well, I wouldn't say really have to work at it, but we're careful. I mean, privacy is obviously a big issue, so we don't just jump over the fence. I mean, we let each other know if we want to go into the backyards.
Well, that all sounds marvellous, but I'd like to have a closer look myself to see how it all works. Do you mind?
Please do.
So, Pete, we're kind of discovering this house back to front, but you actually do have to come through the front entrance of Suzanne's part of the house to really appreciate a very simple but clever feature, this angled wall.
It's an interesting lesson. If you've got a small floor plan and a narrow hallway, sometimes it's not necessarily the best to look straight down the hallway through to the backyard. Slowly reveal it, create a little bit of interest, and that's what this angled wall does. It's hiding a little bit of storage space, but then compressing the living room and fanning it back out again to the rear yard. So it actually increases the sense of space as we move through it.
This house is not huge by any means, but it certainly feels like it with this massive open void above the living room.
Yeah, it's a small footprint, Joe, but it certainly doesn't feel like that. The story starts, though, the family bought 2 inner-city early 19th century workmen's cottages. They both needed to be gutted, so they thought, why not combine forces? It also helps with sustainability, let alone budget. So the brief was simple, Joe. Try and make the spaces feel endless as well as the possibilities.
Even though we're in a really congested part of Sydney's inner west, it feels very, very tranquil. I mean, everywhere you look, there's greenery.
Yeah, we're on a corner block too, Joe. Yeah. Relatively noisy at this part of the city, but it's all about not only volume of space, but garden and natural light. And that's been achieved by a number of tricks. By bringing the threshold, the brick threshold on the inside of the sliding doors enhances that outdoor-indoor feel. And having the planter boxes on the inside of the window, that's been achieved by having sliding glass windows.
It provides amazing ventilation inside.
Great filtered light, and it looks great against the bricks on the outside of the house. Joe, this void, for me, holds the key to the success of this design. I'll tell you why. A lot of subtle detail, starting with a gentle curve in the plasterboard, wanting to connect the levels. But have a look at this slither of skylight. It's actually polycarbonate on the ceiling with a slice of perspex on the inside, but it brings natural light down through the centre of the house.
That is clever. I thought that was LED lights.
Yeah.
That is ingenious. I mean, it really does continue the theme of using a couple of tricks to make every space feel bigger than it actually is. So on top of the 2 original cottages is effectively a big timber box. Now on Suzanne's part of the house, it has a toilet at this end, an office at that end. And on the other side of the box is Andrew's amazing master bedroom, a master stroke of design.
Yeah, we can roll the doors all the way back across the back facade and yet all the shutters can be closed. The shutters let the light and the air in but maintain our privacy. So we can sit up there in our master bedroom and it really feels like we're camping out. It's been an incredibly sort of positive part of our life.
Pete, I've noticed in both homes the storage starts from the floor and basically is separated from the ceiling with a shadow line, so at no point is it cut off to the eye.
Yeah, I love the little subtle angles in here as well, Joe, just making a narrow space more interesting.
And then to soften up the spaces, they both use these curtains. On Suzanne's side, it kind of obscures the television, and here on Andrew's side, it covers the front door.
Look, Joe, the whole thing is a little bit of an architectural jigsaw puzzle in the sense that the front half of this workman's cottage has been left as a granny flat for family and friends to stay in.
Yeah.
But the future proofing, he's thought that through as well because the family, as it expands, can incorporate that back into the design.
Brilliant. So here we are back in the garden of the courtyard. So 3 generations of one family come together to share time and space.
if we looked a little bit more creatively at how we live next door to each other and with each other, it might be beneficial for everyone.
And for this family, it seems to be working out pretty well.
Come on, over to Nana. For me, it's access to my granddaughter and the granddog. She easily moves through the slit in the fences.
She's a 24-hour dog based on who's up and around at what time, basically.